Last month, I launched two completely different websites that illustrate something I see all the time. The first one was for a design build firm who specializes in high end residential projects. They came to me wanting to redo their existing website because it wasn't attracting the quality clients that they wanted. They wanted to make sure that they were attracting projects that were in alignment with what they were doing now and that people were ready to invest with them. And then there was my second client, Deb, who is a board certified functional medicine provider and longevity expert. She helps people in their golden years increase their health span. She didn't actually have a website yet and needed to build one from scratch, but she wanted to reach those individuals who are serious about taking control of their aging process through evidence based solutions. Here's what's really interesting. Even though they started from completely different places, they both had the same core challenge. How do you create a homepage that attracts your ideal client and repels the wrong ones? During our strategy sessions, I realized that these two businesses need totally different homepage approaches. The high end design build client needs to see luxury and sophistication immediately. They are making emotional decisions based on style and aspiration and whether they can envision themselves in their dream home. And Deb's longevity clients need to see that scientific credibility and understand that she is the right person to help them navigate that complex world of aging. They're looking for someone with serious credentials who can create a science backed plan. And this illustrates something I see all the time. Your business type completely changes what needs to be on your homepage. A design builds firm's ideal client is in a totally different headspace than someone looking for longevity and guidance. They have different pain points, different decision making processes, and different ways of building trust. But most website advice treats every single business like they need the same homepage recipe. And that's why many websites aren't converting the right clients. Today, I thought it would be fun to break down the specific homepage strategies that actually work for your type of business. Whether you are a service-based business like Deb, or a creative, or a local business, or selling products, I'm going to share with you some information that will help you be able to transform your homepage from pretty to profitable. Welcome to Website Design Made Simple, the podcast for busy small business owners who want a high-performing website that converts and sells their offers, even while they're sleeping. Because you deserve to have a strategic and beautiful website that truly represents your brand and positions you as the expert that you are. I'm your host, Jenny B., web designer and creative director at Jenny B Designs, where we believe that your website is the one thing that makes you sales and builds your brand at the same time. Ready to say goodbye to a website that you're embarrassed to share? And hello to a money-making, personality-packed powerhouse? Let's head into today's episode. Hello, welcome back to the pod. I'm excited for this one. It's a little bit different, but I think that whoever is listening, you will take away something based on your industry from this homepage tutorial that I have for you. If we haven't already met, I'll do a quick introduction. My name is Jenny B, and I own Jenny B Designs. We are a brand and web design studio, and my passion is helping small business owners design beautiful yet strategic websites that speak to their ideal clients, that attract them, call them in, and repel those clients who aren't the right fit and who aren't the people that you want to work with. I do this by offering brand and website redesigns as well as website audits. That's a little bit about me. So let's step into the episode. Before we get to the specific strategies, why don't we start with why this matters so much? Your business type, your industry, doesn't just change the services that you offer. It actually completely changes your client psychology when they land on your homepage. If you think about it, when someone is visiting that design build website, they are in that dreaming phase. They're scrolling through Pinterest. They're pinning all their inspirational sites. Maybe they just bought a new house, or they're thinking about making that renovation that they have been putting off for forever. They want to be inspired and they want to see themselves in those beautiful spaces. But when someone finds Deb's longevity site, they're more so in that research mode. Maybe they have some health concerns or some lab results, or they're watching their parents getting older and want a different path. They are looking for expertise, for someone who can cut through all that noise out there and just tell them what needs to happen. This is the same website visitor, but they have completely different mindsets. And here's where a lot of small businesses can go wrong. They just copy what they see working for other successful websites without considering whether those businesses serve the same type of clients. I see this a lot in those local businesses, those local contractors, and you will see this in templates. They will use the same template as, say, a business coach. Or a photographer might grab a template that works for an engineering company, but it actually doesn't work because the psychology is different. Your homepage has about 3 seconds or less to convince someone if they're in the right place. You want them to feel understood, to build that trust, and to show you can solve their specific problem. And if you're using the wrong approach for your business type, you're wasting those 3 seconds. We're going to first start with the service-based businesses, the consultants, the coaches, the agencies. These are the businesses I really enjoy working with. I sometimes call them the boring businesses who don't want to be boring, to bring out your personality. These are my people that I like to call in. And when the client is coming to one of these websites, they have complex problems that require expertise. They're not buying a product. They are investing in your knowledge, your process, and your ability to get them results. When your client lands on your homepage, what are they thinking? First, they're wondering if you can solve their problem. And not just any problem, but their exact situation. Deb's longevity clients aren't just interested in some general health advice about what happens when you grow older. They want someone who understands the specific science of aging and can create a personalized plan. They're also wondering if you understand them. Do you speak their language? Do you get the unique challenges that they face? And this is why generic words, generic copy on your website, like "I help people feel better," fall flat. It can apply to anyone. You want to make sure that in that hero section on your homepage, you're addressing that your headline and your subheadline is super specific. For Deb's, she doesn't say, "I'm a functional medicine provider." She says, "evidence-based treatments to increase your health span." There's a difference there. One is about the outcome that she wants her clients to get. When you do this and a client lands on your website, they immediately feel understood. The client going to Deb's website, they're not just getting older, they're facing uncertainty and they want control, and they feel as though Deb is going to understand them. For service-based businesses, your social proof also needs to be results-focused, not just relationship-focused. What I mean is you don't want social proof such as Deb was super nice or great to work with. We want testimonials that show that transformation. I learned that my genes aren't my destiny, and now I have a clear plan to age with longevity. Something like that. Your homepage also needs to address the process anxiety that your potential service-based client might have. They don't know what it means to work with you. For Deb, she has a couple of different offers to work with her. She has a mini tribe program, she has an ebook, and then she offers information on her blog. People can choose their level of engagement. It's important that someone knows what is the process to work with someone and how will it be working with this person, because a lot of us get anxious about the unknown. And third, you need to show your expertise clearly. Your clients need to believe that you are the expert that can solve their problem. A lot of times pertaining to this, a mistake I see is making your about section either on the homepage when you have that mini about section, like a resume. Someone doesn't need to know what college you graduated from and where you got your degrees. It's more important that you understand how to solve their situation and that you have helped people like them before. And then, of course, is the call to action. It needs to match your sales process. What is it that you want someone to do on your website? What is the first step to work together? If you need a consultation, do it. If you offer a way that someone can just dive in, for Deb's example, to buy the ebook, then offer that. Different people need different levels of commitment to get started, understanding who you're working with. That kind of encompasses what you want to see on the homepage for these consultants, coaches, agencies. Social proof, making it clear exactly how you help them when they first land there, and talking about the process and how you are the best person to solve their problem. Moving on to the creatives, the photographers, the designers, the videographers, the design build firm that I mentioned earlier. These are completely different. When someone builds that design build firm site, they're making an emotional decision first and then logical second. They need to fall in love with your style before they can care about your process or your credentials. When a client lands on the design build firm, or for my website as well, I'm one of these creatives. The first thing that someone's thinking is, do they love their aesthetic? And this isn't just about liking it, it's whether they can see their dream home in the design build firm's work. If they can't envision themselves in one of those spaces, they're going to leave. They say this isn't the right fit. Second to that, they're wondering about the personality fit. The interior design process is intimate. The person is going to be coming and understanding their lifestyle, working with their family. And the client needs to feel like they're going to enjoy the process, not just the outcome. And then finally, they're thinking about budget. But here's the thing about creatives. If someone loves your style and they connect with your personality, your potential clients are more likely to stretch their budget than not. But if they don't make that emotional connection, even a lower price won't convince them. It's all about that emotional first. So let's take this to the homepage. What do we do for the creatives? Start with your best work as a hero image. The one piece that represents your style and the quality that you want to be known for and the type of client that you want to call in. For example, the design build firm that I'm mentioning, they work with a bunch of different clients and they do kitchens and baths and living spaces and exteriors. But that one top image that what we share when someone lands needs to resonate. It needs to be emotional and it needs to be the projects that they want to work on. For me, I actually have a photo of myself because I think when you are the face behind your brand, it's important to show who is behind the brand. But for videographers, pick that video that you shot, that you love working with that type of client. That's what you want to have on that hero section. And then think about the portfolio section. Make sure it's early on your website and it's curated. And this is where a lot of creative businesses tend to go wrong. They want to show everything that they can do. But I believe it dilutes your brand. It's better to show less perfect examples of your signature style than more examples of everything that you've done. And then your about section, it needs to show your personality, not your qualifications like I talked about before. And people want to know, what is it like working with you? What is your design philosophy? What inspires you? It's that emotional connection. And then finally, the social proof for these creative businesses, it needs to be visual and emotional. Real clients, perhaps, in their finished spaces, talking about how the design made them feel. For me, having a client next to their finished website sharing about the leads that they've gotten since we launched and the feedback that they've gotten about how it truly reflects their brand. That's where you want to show. And it's important to remember for creative businesses, you want to show investment information. Sometimes when you have a creative business, it is an investment to work with you and you're worried about scaring people away. But when you high pricing, you actually turn people away more often than not. And you don't have to include exact pricing, but giving people a starting point is really helpful to have on your website. And finally, your calls to action, just like the other example, it needs to match the creative decision-making process. People need to see more of your work, understand your process, connect with your personality, and then they'll be ready to book that consultation call, that conversation to ensure it's the right fit. That is the creative business type. Now, next, we're going to talk about the local services, the businesses in your downtown, the contractors, the hair salons, the restaurants, medical establishments, aesthetics, things like that. Local businesses have a completely different set of trust factors that they need to establish. When someone is looking for a contractor or a hair salon or a restaurant, geography and local credibility matter more than anything else. The psychology of these local service clients. First and foremost, like I said, they want to know you can serve their area. Are you close by? And it sounds obvious, but You'll be surprised how many local business websites make this unclear. They don't actually share the specific towns and neighborhoods, or they don't have their address clearly on the homepage and subsequently throughout the interior pages. This is the most important factor. They're also concerned about trust and safety. If you are a contractor, you're going into people's homes. If you are a medical provider and you're in the aesthetics field, you're responsible for their health. They need to be confident that you are legitimate, you're licensed, and you're reliable. And they also want to know about availability and response time. When someone is going to be making a decision if you're local or not, then they want to know, well, how long am I going to have to wait for this? The timing truly matters. And your homepage needs to address these concerns immediately. For local homepages, your headline needs to include your location. And not just your city, but your service area. And this actually corresponds to when you work for search engine optimization as well. It helps both with SEO as well as clients self-identifying that you are the person to solve their problem. For example, Premier Kitchen Remodeling serving Newton, Needham, and Wellesley is much better than saying kitchen remodeling experts. The first example, it shared the cities and towns that I was offering my services to. You also want to have trust signals. This means years in business. You have local certifications, any insurance information. A lot of times you'll see fully licensed and insured Massachusetts contractor since 2005. Whatever it is, it tells people exactly what they need to know. And then when it comes to your social proof, this should also be location specific, not generic. This helps with two things: the person on your website identifying that you can help them, as well as search engine optimization. For example, you can have a testimonial from the Johnson family and say that they were from Brookline. Put that into the testimonial. This is much better. The Johnson family loves their new kitchen is more powerful than, it was great working with yada, yada contractor. Very, very simple. And finally, having your contact information prominent on your homepage, in your header. Sometimes there's an announcement bar at the top. That's a great place to have your contact information. Making sure that that contact information is actually linkable. And what I mean by that is if you have a telephone number, when you click that telephone number on your mobile phone, is it going to dial the number, or does someone actually have to type the number in? I can't tell you the number of times I see that happen where that contact number is not hyperlinked. Making sure that it is hyperlinked in the header and in the footer. And while we're talking about that, local businesses, they are probably most likely on their phone. Again, they're looking for someone who's close by, who can make it happen. And they're doing these local searches. They're busy. They're probably out and about. Making sure that your mobile experience is fast and simple and focused on getting them to call you or to schedule a visit, whatever you need to do. And then finally, the product-based businesses. And I actually never used to work with a large amount of product-based businesses, but that has been shifting, both in e-commerce, the digital downloads, as well as the physical products. These folks have the most straightforward conversion path, but it doesn't mean that it's easy, because a lot of times your clients are comparison shopping. And they want clear information about what you're selling, how much it costs, and how fast it's going to get to. And the psychology here is a little bit different. Product clients, they're in shopping mode. They might be browsing a couple of different sites, comparing prices, reading reviews. They want to make a decision and move on with their day. And your homepage needs to make this immediately clear what you sell, why they should buy from you instead of your competitors. And it needs to be obvious within those 3-second timeline. Your homepage, that hero, should lead with your best product or your best selling collection. Don't try to feature everything. Focus on what's most popular or what's most profitable. You can always guide people to other products once they're engaged on your website. Your navigation, it needs to be super simple and clear. People should be able to find what they're looking for in just a few clicks. Categories is always a great thing to add up at the top if you have a large catalog, as well as having a search feature. Then for social proof. For product businesses, it's all about those customer photos and reviews. People want to see real customers using your products in real situations. And then There's the practical concerns, the shipping costs, the return policies, the delivery time frames. That should be easy to find. Hidden shipping costs is one of those biggest causes of people just leaving, doing that cart abandonment, not understanding how much is it going to cost to get to me and then how long will it take. Ensuring that this is easy to find. And finally, on that homepage, email capture, that newsletter is important for product businesses because not everyone's going to buy on their first visit. And if you offer an incentive like a discount code or a free shipping offer, people will get on your list. And if they're not ready to buy, you can email them, build that know, like, and trust. And then when they are ready, they'll think of you first. Those were the different types of businesses, the product-based, the local services, the contractors, the salons, the creative services, the photographers, the designers, and then the service-based businesses. Now, I'm going to layer on one more thing, and this is if you are selling to businesses or consumers, because this will affect every type of business that we've discussed. Business-to-business clients have a longer decision-making process. They often need to chat with other people in the organization. They're thinking about return on investment and how this purchase will affect their professional reputation. Your homepage needs to provide content for the entire decision-making journey. But those business-to-consumer clients, they make it faster. It's more emotional. They're thinking about how this will improve their life, how it will make them feel, and your homepage can focus more on the benefits and the emotions, that emotional connection, rather than the specifics. For the B2B, you need more credibility. Those client logos, businesses that I've worked with, case studies, the testimonials with specific metrics, perhaps a white paper, things like that, that is professional. But for B2C, you need the more personal connection, a testimonial and a photo from that testimonial and ensuring that it's emotional. Or perhaps it's social media, having your social media feed or a social media post, something that's conversational for those B2C clients. Now, let's talk about what you should do as I shared this whole thinking about your industry and thinking about your homepage. I want to audit your current homepage about what we've discussed so far. First off, identify what category you're in. Are you service-based, creative, local, product? And then are you B2B or B2C? And you might be a hybrid of all, which is fine, but just understand your primary category. Next, think about your client's mindset when they land on your homepage. What is their fear about hiring someone in your industry? What are the questions they're asking? How long does their decision-making process typically take? And if you're looking at your homepage with fresh eyes, which I recommend you doing at least quarterly, does your hero section, does it speak to your specific client's mindset? Is your social proof relevant to your industry and client type? Does your content, the words, your copy, your imagery match your client's decision-making process? And ask yourself, what would make someone choose you over your competitor? Is that differentiator clear on your homepage? And then check your calls to action. Is it appropriate for your sales process in your business type? Are you making it easy for people to take the next step? Here's an idea for you. Take a screenshot of your current homepage and save it so that you know what you were starting with. Then visit your homepage and time yourself. Can you understand what you do and how you help someone within 3 seconds? If not, your messaging needs work. Now go and look at a couple of competitors in your industry. And they don't have to be local, but businesses that serve the same type of client that you do. What message patterns do you see? How do they structure their social proof? What is their call to action strategy? And pick something that your homepage is missing that I talked about earlier. An easy one I think a lot of us could be missing is that location-specific messaging if you're local, or results-focused testimonial if you're service-based. And implement one change this week. You don't have to fix everything at once, but picking one thing that will make the biggest impact and focus on that first. And if you're listening to this episode and you're thinking, well, my homepage is trying to be something it's not, you are definitely not alone. I see this all the time. And that's exactly why I offer website audits that are specifically delete. That's exactly why I offer website audits that are tailored to your business type. I'm not giving generic advice. I am reviewing your homepage and the rest of your website from the lens of your ideal client psychology and your industry's best practices. And I will give you a clear, prioritized action plan that can move the needle forward. So remember, the recap of the whole episode that I shared with you today. There is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all homepage strategy. Your business is unique, your clients have specific needs and concerns, and your homepage needs to reflect that reality. And when you align your homepage with your specific business type, your client psychology, everything starts to fall into place and it clicks, and your message resonates, your social proof builds trust, and your visitors finally start taking action. So thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you next time. And that wraps up another episode of Website Design Made Simple. I hope you found the insights shared in this episode valuable and takes you one step closer to creating a website that attracts more of your ideal clients and builds your brand. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify. Your review will help us reach more small business owners like you who are ready to make more money with their website. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.